I would like to talk about someone who was very dear to me, and some of you know who he is. Some of you have laughed at his comedy. Some of you have gone to his shows and have fallen out of your seats or your chairs or what have you because of the comedy that he gave you, and that person is my cousin David Chappelle. David Chappelle and I were first cousins. Okay, David and I, we were very, very close. There were times when David and I would talk. I had his cell phone number and he had mine, and we would talk for hours on end. There was nothing that David would not or could not tell me, and vice versa with me to him. We just felt comfortable around each other. David was my yin and I was his yang, or vice versa, as you want to put it, but we were very close. Okay, David was married to his wife Elaine, as some of you all may know. She was a Filipino. She is a Filipino, and his mother's name was we called her Auntie Vaughn, and he has a brother. His brother is named after David's father, William. He's a junior, and then David has a sister whose name is Felicia, and she is a full practicing Muslim. Well, David was he was a Muslim as well, and him and his wife Elaine has two sons along with a daughter, and their names, I'm not going to give you out their names, but they have names of Muslims. That's the initial concept of what I've said about the relationship that David and I have had together. So he loved his wife, he loved his mother, and most of all, David loved his family and he loved the farm. And some of you may know, he has a farm in Yellow Springs, Ohio, and he has a special name for that farm, which I'm not going to discuss about, but he calls that farm a certain name. Now, and on that farm is acres and acres of land. And I'm telling you, David was a responsible person when it came to his wife, his children, his mother, his family, and particular their farm. Okay, as some of you may know, David had the Chappelle comedy show. And David was doing good on that show. I mean, he was doing great. And David loved that show. David has always loved to make people laugh, and laugh sometimes until your stomach hurts or tears come out your eyes. He was very, very funny, and David has always been a funny type person ever since the time he was a young boy. Even when he would come to family reunions, he would always, he would be in the spotlight making the family laugh, just laugh. And this is something that he always wanted to be, a comedian, to make people laugh. Well, come the time when he was the executive producer of the Chappelle comedy show, and as I stated before, he was doing fine, he was doing great. But David knew he had to be responsible for his wife, his children, his mother, and the farm, and for the rest of the members of the Chappelle family. And so he had to take things very serious and take the responsibility very heavy. So he did the Chappelle comedy show, and one day he was called into the executive office, and so David went in, and when he went there, he saw all of these executives and others that were around this table, and they had David surrounded like a clock. And it made David a little nervous because he thought he was talking to a few executives, but not a whole slew of them and other people as well. So they asked David, they told him he was doing fine on the show. Great, the show was great, David, but except for one exceptional thing. And David asked, what? They wanted David to ease up off, making the black characters look as stupid as he was portraying them. They wanted him to ease up off the black race. They wanted him to make the black race more intellectual, more, you get what I'm saying. They wanted him to, to quit it. To quit, just hopping on the black race and making them look nonsense. Well, David said, to the executives and then some who were in the room, I don't understand what you're talking about. He said, because I do, or I portrayed the characters of the black race just like I portrayed the characters of the white race. And I can't do that. I can't do that. I have to keep both of them on the same level. Well, they didn't mind David downgrading on the white race, but they wanted him to quit downgrading, period, on the black race. And David said, no, well, I can't do that. And so then they said, okay, David, we're going to make a deal with you. And David said, a deal? They said, yes, a deal. They told David, we'll give you $50 million. $50 million if you could come and join our team and be a part of us and this and that. And they told him some other things, which I'm not going to discuss. But you can rest assured the things that they said to David, to tell him what he could do and what he couldn't do and this and that. And then the torture that they had and the pressure that they put pressure on this man, on David at that time of the meeting. Okay, and David said, no, well, if I accept $50 million from you, what would my fans think? And they said to David this, well, your fans already think that you are a crack addict from the characters that you portray. David, they already think that, that you're a pothead, that you're a drug head. So, it doesn't matter what your fans think, it's what you are willing to accept. And then they went on to put the pressure on him once more. And David, he said, no. I can't accept it. I can't accept the $50 million, and I cannot stop portraying the black race as the same as the white race. He said, no, I can't do it. I can't. You all want me to stop making the black race look foolish, but just continue. No, I can't do it. I have to treat the characters that I portray. It has to be on an equal level. You have to understand, David wasn't trying to make the black race look foolish. He was doing comedy, just like Richard Pryor, just like Bernie Mac, just like any other top comedian of long ago and today, Red Fox. Because see, David knew he was a black man, and David knew where his roots came from. He knew where his roots came from. The reason why they wanted David to quit being or quit having blacks to be foolish in the roles or the characters that he was playing was because at that time they knew, they had gotten word of, that eventually there was going to be a black man to be ushered in as our new president. And they wanted people all over to think that, that black people were not this way, and black people were not that way, because they were ushering in Obama. That's why they wanted, and David, he wasn't for that. Okay. So David told these executives, David told these executives, he said, well, let me think about this thing for a while. He said, because I can't give you an answer right now. He said, because all that you have said to me, is something where I got to think about. He said, I just can't give you an answer right now. And so with that, when David left out of that office, David called me. When David called me and told me everything that they said to him in the executive office. David told me everything from A to Z. And what David told me, it caused me to get a headache. If I had been in that room, and it would have scared the hell out of me, because it in fact scared the hell out of David Chappelle. And David told me, upon talking to me, he said, cuz I got to go. And I said, you got to go? He said, yes, I got to get out of here. I said, well, David, out of here where? He said, I'm going to Africa. I said, well, David, you're going to Africa. He said, I got to get my head clear. I got these things. He said, I just have to have my own peace of mind. And I said, what about Elaine, David? He said, well, I'll deal with Elaine. I'll call Elaine later. He said, but right now I got to go. And I found out later the only person that David had told of going to Africa was me, his brother William, and I think there was a possibility that it was Neil Brennan. I said, David, you go and do what you have to do. And I said, but let me know when you get back in town. Some of you ask, why did he go to Africa? Because David was a practicing Muslim.